Matt Hayes, Real Estate and Whiskey. It is 1 o'clock, 1:30. I don't have a glass in my hand, so I'm just going to drink some energy drink at the moment. A little Zoa for me. I got my good buddy Jay London. I say that last name right? London?
Yes, sir.
Jay London here out of Oklahoma City. Jay's an absolute beast in construction, home building, storage units. I actually watched one of your videos you did about a week ago, maybe, and picked up some really cool shit about storage units because I've always been fascinated about that business. But man, thanks for being here today. I really appreciate the opportunity to chat it up with you.
Hey, I appreciate the invite.
Right on, dude. Well, let's get right to it. So tell me, tell everybody watching this, how long have you been in home building and real estate?
I bought my very first flip house in 1996. So that gives you a little bit of an idea how old I am.
Damn, dude, you're an OG, man. Holy shit. Hang on, I'm doing public math.
Yeah.
28 years?
Yeah, real close to 30.
Holy shit, that's badass. So
yeah,
this is
I've been through all the downturns and all the crashes, and I've got the bruises and the scars to show it. So,
man, I'll bet you have if you've been at it that long. So your first flip house then, how many real estate transactions you've been involved in since then?
Oh, God. I don't know, Matt. I quit counting on the 500th home I built, and that was probably about 7 years ago.
Holy shit. So you built thousands of homes.
I wouldn't go thousands. I'd say we're probably getting close to the 700 range. I do mostly custom now. I'm all custom now. And so that slows you down to bigger ends. It takes 8 months to build the houses. But when I first got into it, I was flipping them. You could flip. This was before the flip this house on TV and everything. You go to the sheriff's auction and add $1 and win the bid on it, and you was buying them for 20 cents on the dollar. And then, all that came on TV and everybody was going to get rich and things would just start going downhill. And that was prior to subprime. And, then I was flipping about 30 a year in my hometown. And then everybody started paying way too much. And I was trying to figure out, well, I can't make the margins I need to make on these things.
And TV and internet made the business ultimately more competitive, did it not?
Very competitive, yes. What it did is broadcast all the wins and never showed the losses to everybody. So everybody thought they'd go get rich. They thought anybody could flip a house and just make hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they didn't tell them about those collapsed sewers and gas lines and mold and all that other stuff behind the walls that we've all experienced that's been in it for a while,
Bro, I spent $100K last year on sewers. I hate them.
And that's what's funny is when I first built my first house, I was scared to death. So I bought 2 lots, built the exact same floor plan right beside each other because I was going, man, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. This scares the far out of me. But I had a buddy that was doing it. He goes, man, I just did 2. He said, we can handle it. So I was very hands-on out there the whole time, standing over everybody's work. And we popped it in about 90 days. Back then, we could build houses pretty quick. I had them sold before I got them done. And everything went just click, 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 click. And I said, I'm never flipping another house. I'm never going to flip another house. So got into the home building business and took off from there and did very well in it, crashed and burned in it, rebuilt myself, did very well in it again. And so here we are. We started venturing out into the commercial world about 3 years ago. And I wish I'd done it 40 years ago, 30 years ago.
So commercial world, what do you mean by that?
Industrial side, building and rent industrials, self-storage is where my main focus is right now. I love the business model. I built and sold apartment complexes, own them. I still own a large medical office complex, and I've owned some retail. I've got a retail eatery strip center and self-storage multi-use development we're about to start turning dirt on. It's taken us 10 months to get that across the planning commission and all that formidable. I've got a condo development going.
Good Lord, you got your hands in some big shit.
Yeah, it's time consuming, but I got into the commercial side, didn't realizing it's just zeros is all it is, but the profit margins are, or the checks are bigger. Let's just put it that way. I realize the commercials where the wealth is built. So I still have a very lucrative custom home building business, but my goal is the next 3 to 4 years to buy or build 500,000 square foot of self-storage. And I think that's my 401k plan.
So 500,000 square feet. Give me an idea. What does it cost to build that? What's the cash flow look like on something like that?
Okay. Simply put, it's self-storage. It's just a concrete or just a metal box sitting on a piece of concrete, in most places. Now, some areas have got climate control, but it's just a metal box. And the greatest thing about it is it doesn't follow under the tenants' rights law or RESPA or any of that other stuff. So, your rent's due on the 1st, late after the 3rd, and you're locked out on the 15th. And if by the 45th day, if I haven't got your money, you're auctioned and that unit's swept in for rent. And that's how it works. You don't have to go to court to try to evict somebody, collect their money and all that other stuff. And I run it on I have 2 existing facilities right now. We run them on our cell phones. It's automated through cell phone rent on website. We collect payments on websites. We have no managers on site, and I can be laying on the beach on the 1st of the month, and the email starts going off on deposit. That's what I love.
Yeah, I love that, man.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah. So how many units is that? Give me an idea on some numbers.
In the self-storage world, you go by rentable square foot, not doors or units like you do in multifamily.
Okay.
Because there's so many different sizes of units that you got a 5 by 10s, 10 by 10s, 10 by 20s, 10 by 15s.
Oh, okay.
So you don't really go by doors. You go by rentable square foot, because you can have an entire facility that's 100,000 square foot all be 10 by 20s. Well, your doors would be 300 doors. Well, what if you had the same size of facility and you had a half of it was 5 by 10s? Well, then you'd have 500 doors. So you have to go by rentable square foot and self-storage. This is what we rent for, average across the market. So that's how self-storage is done. So when I say 500,000 square foot, I want about 500 rentable square foot.
Okay.
And whether that be I like to play in the 20 to 50,000 rentable square foot range, because you start getting over that, you start playing with the big boys like the Publix and the big REITs, the real estate trust ones. And right now they are on fire buying them things. They are.
What does it cost you to build something like that? You're in home building, so obviously you're building that thing
ground up. We can build a facility, and I say slab up. This doesn't include your dirt, because your dirt cost is different everywhere you go. But slab up, you can go non-climate controlled. You can build a facility for around $25 a square foot. Is about what you can build it for.
So building it for $25 a square foot, traditional loan, 20% down, 25% down.
Construction loans, traditional loan, you go in and you get your construction loan, depending on the size of the facility that you're building. You're looking at about a 2-year build out, and then you turn around, you refi, cash out. You got to stabilize it, so you rent it up and stabilize it. The plan is to cash out, refi. If you got some private investors in it, normally they get their principal back, and then they stay in and they get a piece of equity. It's just like a syndication, just like anything else. It works the same way. But what I like about it is it's just a metal box. It's easy. It builds itself. You bring in the guys. You're not having to stand over them. I GC all mine myself on my cell phone. My dirt crew's my dirt crew. My people. So it's just the reason I like it's become very popular. They say that it's $29 billion business now.
What was it 10 years ago, 20 years ago?
I don't have the answer for that. Since they've been mapping it for 41 years, the last 3 years it's had the highest occupancy rate, at the highest rent per square foot, at the highest or at the lowest cap rates. So
what kind of now that you say that, what kind of occupancy rate can someone expect?
Well, it used to be you run about 85 to 88%, but over the last few years we've experienced 95 to 97%. And that's why rents have kind of went through the roof. Is if you're at 100%, your rents are too low. So you got to test the market and get down to about the 95 to 92 percentile on your occupancy levels to make sure that you're tapping the top of the market.
Because it seems to me that, man, these things just keep going up everywhere I travel, where I live. I just keep seeing. And I guess what I love about it is they're able to take ground that you wouldn't really think that you could use for something,
Right.
and they're like, "Damn!" And then boom, they pop one of these things up. Um, and the bank that I bank at, my dad's on the board over there, and he was talking about how that is one of their one of their best customers is in this space. And maybe I've just been stuck in my lane too much that I haven't looked at this kind of thing. And I kind of get jealous of guys like you, man, just doing this shit. And maybe we need to are you going to Cali next week or not in 2 weeks?
Nah,
You're not going? Damn.
Nah, can't make it.
I got to get out there,
Yeah,
man.
I got too many irons in the fire, man. You just heard. I got to get some stuff done.
You got some shit going on. Well, that's badass, man. Okay, so self-storage business, that's your passion, and that's what you're hitting home, your 401k, which shit, I love that stuff, man, because the more real estate we can own by the time we retire, oh my gosh. And for me, man, I just want to keep it, let it cash flow, build a business around it, and then, my kids continue. I mean, they know that when I die, I get put in that ground in that box, have a party, cry, sing a song, dance, whatever you want to do. But then take care of that real estate. That's right. The number one thing. Take care of that real estate. Because
I grew up on a farm, and Dad always said, "Buy land; they don't make no more of it." And that's the truth. It's real estate. If you think about it, just about every wealthy person, unless they're a Bitcoiner or got lucky at the stock market or something, it happened in real estate. Yep, just about everybody.
Even companies that we wouldn't really even think of. Everybody knows the story about McDonald's because they did that Founder now, right? That movie there with Batman in it, which is awesome. Batman's coming back. But I just saw him in that the new Flash trailer. My son saw. I don't know. I'm a Marvel and DC guy, so Michael Keaton. It's gonna be cool to see him back in the Batman.
Is there Michael in it this time?
Yeah, because I think the Flash goes back in time. Okay. And anyways, we're kind of getting off topic here, but he goes back in time. I'm pretty sure he sees the 80s Batman, which is the 90s
that's
Batman.
Cool.
But yeah, man, I mean, I don't want to, be close to retirement. I'll probably never retire, and I don't think you will really either because, we don't have a job. We have a passion, and we hustle, and we provide for ourselves. And my goal is to own as much as I possibly can safely.
Yep.
And I think that's the biggest thing that kind of people, they hear your success stories here with what you're doing, but you even just a minute, you went through 2 crashes, lost it all, gained it all back, lost it all, gained it all back. Like, that's the story of guys like us that put it all on the line.
Yep.
Like,
it is.
I lost $1 million last year flipping houses. And I could, act like the victim, but nobody's gonna listen to that bullshit. You gotta get back at it. You gotta grind. And what's amazing is we're only 50 days into this year, 52 days, 51 day, whatever. And we're thriving. Like I mean that, and I guess I do my best work when my back's up against the wall. So fuck, man.
It's funny about us entrepreneurs. If we ain't stressed, if we're not living in the anxiety world of stress, then we don't know how to operate.
Nothing creative happens.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And
I heard Gary Harper say that. He's like, "How much money we got in the bank, sweetie?" And she told him, he didn't say the number. I've got no idea what it is. He's like, "Spend it. We got too much money in the bank. We need our back up against the wall." And I think that happens a lot to guys like us. We don't really realize it, is that we get some success in life and then we chill. And during that chill period, someone else comes and steamrolls your ass, and they come right over top of you and hit more success. And one of my biggest failures was I focused too much on one social media channel, which was Facebook, the Facebook groups and building all that. And I neglected everything else, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. And then I see my peers now thriving in those spaces. They get on, they do one Instagram live, they sell 200 grand worth of products. And I'm like, son of a bitch. So like, I'm in the building stages now of all those other social media channels.
Right.
And me, I'm always the guy who just wants to get out there and do the work. And I know you're that kind of guy too.
That's me. Actually, it's funny you say that because I hate doing the social media stuff, but you got to do it in our world nowadays because the yellow pages in the newspaper's gone, baby. You got to get out there and get in front of people, and then you got to stop that scrolling. And I said, I don't have the time to do this. I've got too much going on, so I hired a VA. I have a full-time VA that she sends me a list every week. Do this, this, and this, and this, and she rips my reels. She does it all for me. And so when they say, Jay, I seen your post. Which one? Oh no.
They're like, man, I see you all the time. And I'm like, do you guys ever realize that I wear the same sweatshirt in like 15, 16, 20 of those videos? Like, I'm busting it all out and then I send it off.
Yeah. So we schedule Monday 2 hours. So we're going to do all these freaking reels and all these videos. And then I'm working the rest of the week. And they go and say, no, I'm not.
That's just it, man. Okay. So that's awesome. So what kind of homes are you building right now? Because that is to me, man, that is just the sexiest business that exists. And I love seeing raw wood go up. I love the smell of it walking through the house after the carpenters, are in full swing. I love the new home smell. I mean, I love everything about it, man. And I don't, really at what stage you're at, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about that business that you're doing right now.
Well, we focus mainly on 3,000 to 5,000 square foot homes now, and they take some time. So there's
big bastards then, big homes.
Well, the bigger they are, the more money they make. And instead of being one of these production builders that try to go out here and build 100 a year, I'd just rather build about 10. And and they take us a year to build, 10 to 12 months. I'll do a little smaller if it's in my backyard, where I can go drink my coffee and drive 4 miles down the road and look at it or something. And I still go to the job sites. It's hard for me to say no, even though I got people, but that's just how I am,
What's the average ticket on a home that you're building right now?
In Oklahoma, you're looking that type of house is going to cost you about $200 a foot slab up.
Okay. So 600 to $1 million.
Yeah. 600 to $1 million. We've got one going. I got another one. I've got one going right now. That's probably going to be about 1.2 when we're all done.
Okay, bro, it blows my mind that you guys don't have basements in Oklahoma.
Groundwater's too low, baby. 20 foot in the groundwater. Yeah, you dig a hole here, it's going to fill up with water.
No shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought it was the soil that was just terrible.
Well, the soil sucks. It's red clay. It moves all the time, but a lot of it's grain water too. So if you build a basement here, it has to be a monolithically all one pour, and then you've got to put the vapor barrier, the roll-on water barrier, and everything else to keep it dry. Otherwise, it'll be full of water. So
let's talk about this for a second. Here in Missouri, where I am, we are mostly basement houses. And in the 50s and 60s, we have all this red clay here too. Mm-hmm. It's not till about 10 or 12 feet you dig down, you start to get to dirt or whatever else is down there. Anyways, and so if your house was built between the 50s, 60s, some even in the 80s, that there's potential for foundation issues unless they backfilled with rock. Well, then, back then they didn't do that. They were, saving money. We'll just backfill what's ever on the ground. And it's like whenever that shit gets wet, it just goes, it shrinks and it keeps shrinking and just puts all that pressure on that foundation. Of course, I'm telling you this, this, but it's just amazing. Foundation companies are thriving here.
They're killing it. Yeah. The same way up here. It's just, our foundation guys up here, they knock it out of the park.
So you guys put piers in then like they do at beach houses.
Mm-hmm.
How deep they go?
God, I don't know. That's a business I cared nothing about getting into because it required my hand on a shovel and digging a hole. I said, I want
no, I'm not doing it. I'll order piers, but I ain't fucking putting them in.
No, I can stand back and say, let's just shove it in the ground. But they've got the hydraulic things that drive them down, into the bedrock, and it pushes the house back together and stuff. They charge $400, $500, $600 a pier. Most houses need 20 or 30. So,
that's because that's about a rough estimate on a basement, a 3,000 square foot house. You're spending about 30 to 40 grand on the foundation so that you can get your basement. It's just a Midwest thing that we do here. And it's just crazy that Tornado Alley, Oklahoma, man, where they
Well,
filmed that.
we just pour them on top of the slab. We do monolithic safe rooms. I've got a lot of my bigger homes. We'll build a 10 by 10 safe room where it's all concrete, still rebarred, poured on top of the slab with the FEMA doors and stuff. And sit in the garage, or maybe your master bedroom or master bathroom or closet or something like that. That it'll be, where you can get into. And then they have these ground shelters where they come in and they cut a 4x8 hole in your slab and drop a 8-man concrete box down in it. So those are very common, because you got to think about it. A tornado's here and gone in 5 minutes most of the time. It's not like a hurricane, so you just got to pile on each other, get in there, and then hope the house don't fall down on top of you, and then get out. Yeah. We're due. I hate to say it, but we're due. It's been 10 years in May of this year. That's what brought me to Oklahoma City, was the last big tornado that took out Moore, Oklahoma. That brought me up here and started building.
So where are you originally from?
Down south, about an hour and a half, South Oklahoma.
Not too far from me. I'm over here in St. Louis, Missouri.
Yep. No, I'm not far from you.
Yeah, well, right on, man. So you are like one hell of a modest guy. You're building all this shit. You're just like, hey, I'm building about 20 houses a year. Not, 10, 20 houses a year. No big deal, right? Well, that's a shitload of money, man. I mean, and a lot of people, this is the financial game. A lot of people that are watching are interested, in the numbers. So what is your current real estate holdings right now, if you don't mind me asking? What's the dollar amount? What are we looking at?
I own about $4 million worth of real estate.
Okay. Right on. And your sales, if you're doing 10 houses at 600 to about 800 to 9 million.
We hit right around 5 million last year in sales. And I'm cost plus. I'm 20% on that.
So that's the gross margin on a home is 20%.
Yeah, because I charge 20% for everything I do on the job. So I'm just a general contractor. That's how we break it down now. And I roll, my people see I'm fully transparent. So I have a software system called Builder Trend, and we load all the invoices. They get my discounts. They get all the rebates. All that is passed down to the customer. They get to see the invoices. They see exactly where their money's going. And I just charge 20% to build it.
20%. Well, shit. Sounds pretty fair to me, man.
Yeah. Well, some people don't think it is. They think we're making too much money, but you got to understand my overhead's at least 11 of that. Yeah. You can't run an office. You can't have employees, but people don't get that. Holy crap! You're making $200,000.
Well,
no, not really.
It's because you're showing them the numbers, right? And I got a good buddy here, Josh. He owns K-Build Construction, and this guy builds the sexiest stuff. Mm-hmm. And he's too expensive for me to use for any of my projects that I've got going on. Because then I call him and I bounce an idea off. He's like, dude, I'm too much, man. He's like, you're going to want to build that on your own or find somebody else. He's like, we're experts at what we do. And I have this quality standard. I mean, he gets people to spend, he just fucking did a $900,000 deck on a house. I mean, of course, this deck is massive and it includes a million bells and whistles. But, brick, and there was also a detached structure, so it was just this massive undertaking. And he, he's telling me about this, and he has a very similar system. It's here's the cost, and then this is what I want to make, and I think he's at like 15 or 18% or something, but he'll use his carpenters, his painters, and, all his people like you do, and I find it interesting that some people complain about it. Some people like it. I like it because of the transparency, but other people, they like, they buy a house for, let's say, $700,000-800,000. And then they try to figure out how to, butt heads with the builder and get things discounted or whatever. And it should be a fun process because when my wife and I built our house that we're in now, which God, I hope I'm not moving anytime soon. We built this thing to stay here. We're fucking putting a pool in the backyard right now. Son of a bitch. But anyways, we absolutely enjoyed the process, man. And I knew I was spending a ton of money, but I didn't want to build the house. I wanted to focus on my businesses to produce the money to pay for the house.
Right.
And, we got
it's just like everybody watches a lot of HGTV and do it yourself, and they don't understand why can't you build a house in a day like TV, and why doesn't it go that smooth? And this is what you're paying me to do, and I don't care what Uncle Bob said or how Uncle Bob said it was supposed to have been done. That's not how it's done here. So I'll get them coming in from all over the country. Like, well, here in California, we do it this way. You're not in California, bud. This is Oklahoma. This is how it's done here.
Yeah.
There's a reason it's done here this way, and why you do it there in California that way. I said, the house being built in Florida is not being built in North Dakota the same way. I can promise you, completely different.
Yeah.
So it just takes, it takes a little bit of, but it's just, I don't mind them. I like them getting involved, but I don't like them trying to tell me how to do my job, because you hired me, or you should have did it yourself.
Pick the colors, pick the design, give me some checks, shut up.
Get out of my way. You hired me to do a job. You're just holding me up.
So, my father-in-law used to build homes back in the 70s, and at the end of it, he quit because he was building small houses for $45,000, and back then that's a 1,200 square foot house. But anyway, so he quit because he just couldn't. He did not have that customer service kiss your ass. So he actually put, if you're too much of a pain in the ass, like the clause was so black and white, like if you're too much of a pain in the ass, I will give you your money back, and we no longer, or this contract's voided type things. And he actually did that one time.
Really?
He handed the customer the check and said, "We're done. I'm out. I'm building this, and I'll put it on the market to sell it." And
I've been threatening for about 10 years to make people take a psychological test before we go to work. they turn into crazy when we get about halfway through.
Well, yeah, man. If it's not the kind of person you could sit down and have a drink with and get along with, I mean, some people out there just expect things to go a different way, and then they question it through the whole fucking process, man. And it absolutely kills me. And I see this all the time. And we used a fairly known builder here, McKelvey Homes, in our area. They build 6 or 7 type homes, and then you can design them a little bit differently. We went a little bit crazy with ours, but the point I'm trying to make is, man, there's some Karens out there that you just don't want to fucking build a house for.
Well, I've had them. I've had my share of them. And
you almost need to just charge them more.
But the problem is you don't know it in the beginning. They kind of come out about 60 days into it. Then you start, what the hell did I just do? And now you're already committed. My entire career, I can seriously say I've only quit one. I've only walked away from one job.
And that one probably stressed you out so much than all the other projects you had going on.
I had one that I almost quit building over, but I finished her job, and it was a big house. It was 1 point some odd million, and it was just 7 a.m. every morning. Here comes that text from her. I'm just going, oh my God, she's the most needy thing in the world. I'd be out Sunday afternoon on the lake. She'd be sending me lists of stuff to do. I'm going, I want to kill her. I want to kill her. But we got through it, got it done. And but that was a tough one, but that wasn't the one I quit. The one I quit was I'd say older couple. And it just got so difficult to deal with them on just little nitpicky stuff that people don't understand, that you got to get a house to a certain point. Then you do your punch list. Then you work on stuff, and all this little stuff you're worried about, it's fixable, and it's a common thing in construction.
Right.
But just go by and see what's done, and then go out, go do something. Don't dwell around that.
I know, and I think Blair and I, we've the very first house we bought, we had it built, and I feel like we may have been that Karen, because we were young. I was 20 at the time.
Okay.
And
first house at 20. Nice.
Trust me, it was not a big house, but it was a $165,000 house. And man, we poured our heart and soul into this thing. And we ended up getting into a massive argument with the builder. And I look back at myself and I'm like, man, I was a huge fucking idiot. Like, I was saying this about my house. And then he point blank said, it is not your house until you buy it. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just
use that term a little bit.
Yeah. I mean,
back before I became just 100% cost plus, you know, when I actually was on the money to build their house, there was a couple of times I had to say that, listen, this ain't your house until you write me a check. And you may not get to write that check. You don't settle down. So,
so what are your payment terms now? They're basically paying as it goes.
Yeah, we have a draw schedule. We give them a draw schedule, and I set it up, you know, where simple terms is, let's say it's going to be $1 million house. I'm going to charge you $20,000 on it. It's going to be $200,000. Let's say it's going to take me 12 months to build that house. What we'll do is the $1 million hard cost, which is labor material, is an estimate, you know, and that all changes. But we send it off to all of our trades and our suppliers to get the best estimate we can, and we show them to you. But are those going to be the numbers in the end? No, of course not. You know, I can't get a lumber quote today in 120 days from now. That lumber quote's going to be the same price, concrete or all that stuff. You know, it just doesn't work that, and they get mad. Well, why was the painter, you know, $15,000 more? We quoted your house a year and a half ago. What's gas done? You know, what's petroleum done? I mean, yeah, they don't understand that. So, you know, I've got to explain that to them. You know, this is kind of how it works. So I put the force majeure clause in my contract about 2.5 years ago, right before lumber went through the stinking roof. And it saved me tremendously because I didn't have to eat any of it. Because that's when I moved to cost plus, and I moved to just, you know, I call it general contracting the house. So what I do is we'll say the house, your hard cost for labor material is going to be $1 million. My builder fee is going to be $200,000 on it. That's 20%. So I'll take that 200,000 and I'll say, okay, what is that in payments broke up over 12 months? Whatever that number is, 110,000, whatever it is. On the first, I'm going to bill you for my builder fee of every month for that builder fee. And then we're going to draw in these 10 stages. Like if we might draw a slab, and then we might draw that frame, and then we might draw that. That's going to be covering the hard cost. My builder fee is going to be on the first of the month every month. So if I've got 5 or 6 houses coming, I got a check coming in on a job, and I'm not putting it on because in the beginning you spend a whole lot of money on the house, and then it slows way down to not a whole lot of money. And these builders still charges 20% on the draws. And I'm going, that's dumb. And they say, well, what do you do in the end if it costs a lot more or costs a lot less than what your quote is? Well, we just hold back the final draw, and then we adjust it to fit whatever
net it out at the difference. And I can see that making a lot of sense.
Yep.
Because you get your fee, your money that you need to operate Jay's business, your personnel, your office.
I got payroll, I've got office expenses, I've got all this other stuff I have to do every month, whether we're moving, whether it's raining outside or whatever. We still have expenses we have to take care of. So it's easier if I got 4 or 5 houses going. If I've got 40 or 50,000 coming in, I can make my payroll. I can pay all my expenses to keep things moving forward on these jobs that, you know, we may have been stagnant for 30 days or something on because of something the owner ordered or something that caused us to go slow, or the trades being behind or whatever.
I like that model. Honestly, that makes a lot of sense. And
I moved to it 4 years ago, and I should have did it a long time ago. And I had a really old builder teach me how to do that. I'm going, man, that's the stinking smartest thing in the world doing that.
Sure. Well, you get your money.
Yeah.
You know, it could be raining I know when I started my project, another place I built seven years ago, like we couldn't get the dozer we couldn't get the high lift in there to push the trees over because the ground was so soft. We were starting in the spring, and it was a nightmare. And so like I had to wait like 2 months to get that guy in there.
Yeah.
But man, that's awesome. So right on, dude. I mean, I appreciate you being on here today. And
hey, thanks for the invite, bro. It's good to see you. Good to talk to you. Wish I was Kevin in the Cali, but I gotta.
What about are you coming to Clearwater in the summer? All right, cool.
Time will tell. We'll see how far underneath these commercial projects I am. Yeah. I may be trying to just say tell the Traco to bury me. I've had all I can handle. I'm done.
But hey, man, I was gonna say I've got I'm looking for 4 guys to come with me shark fishing. I got Mike Watson. And just looking for a couple other buddies on that Thursday when we normally hang out at the pool. We're gonna go shark fishing in the morning.
Okay. Well, look, give me some time.
Oh yeah, it's an open invite. But Right on, dude. Man, thanks for jumping on here today. Sorry we had them technical difficulties early in the morning, but
That's what it is.
anyways, thanks, man. And
you have a great week, buddy.
Let me know if you ever need anything, okay?
All right. See you later, man.
See you, buddy.
Thank you.
Bye.